Welcome back to Geek Culture 101, your home for all things geek. Join me today as I explore the 2000s, a decade that I know many of my viewers still long for today. The 2000s weren't just another decade, they were a turning point, a shift in pop culture. If the 80s were about big action heroes and arcades, along with Saturday morning cartoons, and the 90s embraced alternative culture, grunge, and the internet's infancy, the 2000s took everything that came before and transformed it into the mainstream. Geek culture wasn't just something you had to seek out anymore either. It was everywhere. Anime went global, superheroes took over the box office, gaming moved online, and the internet connected fandoms like never before. And let's not forget the technology that made it all possible. This was the era of MP3 players, DVDs, early smartphones, and broadband internet, all of which reshaped how we consumed entertainment. The way we watched, played, and interacted with media changed forever. So let's take a journey back to the decade that turned geek culture into pop culture and truly started a shift. The anime boom, from niche to global phenomenon. Anime wasn't new in the 2000s, but this was truly a decade where it exploded. Before this era, anime was something you had to hunt down, whether through late night TV blocks, expensive imports, or grainy fan-subbed VHS tapes. But as the 2000s unfolded, anime wasn't just for the die-hard fans anymore. It was everywhere. Toonami and Adult Swim became the gateway for millions like myself, introducing mainstream audiences to Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, Cowboy Bebop, Inuyasha, Gundam Wing, and so many more. Then came the next wave, where Naruto turned every kid into a ninja, One Piece brought pirate adventures back, and Full Metal Alchemist gave us some of the best storytelling in animation history. But the real turning point, Spirited Away, winning the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature in 2003. This wasn't just a win for Studio Ghibli, it was a moment that told the world anime is art. By the end of the decade, anime was a global powerhouse. DVDs packed store shelves, Crunchyroll was laying the groundwork for anime streaming, conventions were bigger than ever, and anime merchandise was everywhere. If you were an anime fan in the 2000s, you weren't in the shadows anymore, you were part of the movement. Superheroes take over Hollywood. From niche to blockbuster. Superhero movies existed before the 2000s, of course, but they weren't the dominant force they are today. The 80s and 90s had their moments. Superman, Batman, Blade. But comic book movies were usually either campy, such as Batman and Robin, or experimental, like Spawn. Then the 2000s changed everything. The X-Men. Stripped away the bright-colored spandex and gave superheroes a grounded, modern look. Then Spider-Man came along and shattered box office records, proving that superheroes weren't just for comic book readers, they were for everyone. But the real shift happened in the mid to late 2000s, with Batman Begins, when it reinvented the Dark Knight, leading to The Dark Knight. A film that wasn't just for superhero fans, but it was just a great movie all around. And then, of course, Iron Man happened. That one, post-credit scene, it launched the Marvel Cinematic Universe, proving that interconnected superhero films were the future of Hollywood. By the end of the decade, superhero films weren't just popular, they were defining pop culture, paving the way for the MCU, the DCEU, and the billion-dollar superhero franchise we see today. Gaming goes online and never looks back. The 2000s didn't just change how we watched entertainment, it changed how we played. Before this decade, gaming was local split-screen battles, arcade competitions, and late-night Super Smash Bros. Tournaments with friends in the same room. But when broadband internet became more accessible, everything changed. Halo 2 introduced online console gaming, making Xbox Live a must-have experience. World of Warcraft wasn't just a game, it was a lifestyle, with millions of players logging in daily to explore Azeroth. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare set the global standard for online multiplayer shooters, creating the foundation for the esports boom. And then came the Nintendo Wii. It didn't just introduce motion controls, it made every gamer for a brief moment. Kids, parents, and even grandparents were all playing together. Gaming wasn't just a hobby anymore, it was a culture. LAN parties turned into global esports tournaments. Online gaming became a social experience, and midnight game releases became massive events. The 2000s set the stage for modern gaming industry we know today. The tech that changed everything. The 2000s didn't just change what we watched and played, it changed how we consume that media. DVDs replaced VHS, no more rewinding. DVDs gave higher quality bonus features and full season box sets. MP3 players and iPod music became portable, and anime openings, gaming soundtracks, and movie stores became a daily listening material. Broadband internet became the norm, so no more dial-up. Faster speeds meant streaming, online gaming, and digital fandoms could thrive. Of course, YouTube changed everything. Suddenly, anime music videos, gaming walkthroughs, and fan theories had a global platform. Social media took off. MySpace, Facebook, and fan forums connected geek culture on a massive scale. Early smartphones arrived. The iPhone marked the beginning of an era where geek culture could be accessed anywhere, anytime. Without these advancements, geek culture wouldn't have spread as quickly as it has or as widely as it did. The 2000s laid the foundation for the digital world we live in today. The internet fandoms came together. Before the 2000s, being a geek could feel isolating. If you loved anime, comics, or gaming, your community was often limited to a few friends or your local comic shop. But the internet changed it all. Websites like Newgrounds, early YouTube, and dedicated fan forums created global fan communities. Cosplay, once a niche hobby, became an international movement. Fan fiction and webcomics exploded, giving rise to new forms of storytelling. And let's not forget conventions. What had once been small gatherings turned into massive events like San Diego Comic-Con, where movies, TV, gaming, and comics collided. Geek culture wasn't just something you enjoyed, it's something that you shared. The 2000s set the stage for today. The 2000s weren't just another decade. They were the decade that redefined pop culture. Everything we love today, anime, streaming, cinematic universes, esports, online fandoms, was shaped by the 2000s. It was a decade that geek culture became more than just a niche, it became a global phenomenon. So what are your favorite memories from the 2000s? Did you grow up watching anime after school, staying up late for gaming marathons, or following the rise of the MCU from the beginning? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so you and your connected friends can all join us for deep dives into more geek culture. Until next time, stay geeky, my friends. Stay geeky.